approaching. He peered through the foliage, and in the soft light of the coming dawn saw a figure, apparently alone. The figure carried a rifle. He signalled for two others, the American and the Briton, to position themselves either side of him, and as the black came to within 30 feet of their position, he called out, "All right, far enough." The figure froze. Rourke didn't want to shoot. It would make too much noise. "Do as we tell you and you won't be hurt. Put your gun on the ground and back away. Then you'll be free to go." That way, they would be clear long before the guerrilla could fetch help, even if there were others nearby. Of course, there was no way of telling whether the black had understood or not. They never did know. Unaccountably, the shadowy shape loaded the gun, clicking the bolt into place. It was the suicidal action of a rank amateur. Without waiting to see whether the weapon was going to be used, the three men, following their training and instinct, opened fire together. 3 streams of bullets, perhaps 150 rounds in all, sliced across the figure, which tumbled backwards into the grass. In the silence that followed, Rourke realized that the victim was not dead. There was a moan. The noise of the shooting would have carried over a mile in the still air. He paused, only for a moment. "Wait one," he said. He walked towards the stricken guerrilla. It was a girl. She had been all but severed across the stomach. He caught a glimpse of her face. She was perhaps 15 or 16, a mere messenger, probably with no experience of warfare, little training, and no English. He shot her through the head. He would have been happy to make it his war. He would have been happy to risk his life for a country that wasn't his. But he was not happy to lose. The place was going to the blacks anyway. So when they offered to extend his contract, when they showed him the telex from Hereford agreeing that he could stay on if he wished, he told them, thanks, but no thanks. There was no point being here anymore. Now he was going home, for a month's R&R, during which time he fully intended to rediscover a long-forgotten world, the one that lay beneath Lucy's white coat. The clock on the Royal Exchange in the heart of the city of London struck 12. 200 yards away in a quiet courtyard off Lombard Street, equidistant from the Royal Exchange and the Stock Exchange, Sir Charles Cromer stood in his 5th-floor office, staring out of the window. Beyond the end of the courtyard, on the other side of Lombard Street, a new Crédit Lyonnais building, still pristine white, was nearing completion. To right and left of it, and away down other streets, stood financial offices of legendary eminence, bulwarks of international finance, defining what was still a medieval maze of narrow streets. Cromer, wearing a well-tailored 3-piece grey suit and his customary old Etonian tie, was a stocky figure, his bulk still heavily muscled. One of the bulldog breed, he liked to think. He stuck out his lower lip in thought and turned to walk slowly round his office. As city offices went, it was an unusual place. Reflecting the wealth and good taste of his father and grandfather, it also expressed a certain cold simplicity. The floor was of polished wood. To one side of the ornate Victorian marble fireplace were 2 sofas of button-backed Moroccan leather. They had been made for Cromer's grandfather, a century ago. The sofas faced each other across a rectangular glass table. On the wall, above the table, beneath its own light, was a Modigliani, an early portrait dating from 1908. In the grate stood Cromer's pride and joy, a Greek jug, a black figure amphora of the 6th century BC. The fireplace was now its showcase, intricately wired against attempted theft. The vase could be shown off with 2 spotlights set in the corners of the wall opposite. Cromer's desk, backing on to the window, was of a superb cherry wood, again inherited from his grandfather. Cromer walked to the 8-foot double doors that led to the outer office and flicked the switch to spotlight.